Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1825 AN. Today's date is March 26, 2019, and the title of the episode is Boom, Another Victory, Groundwork for the Economic Transition in Progress. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about the crypto market. Cryptos are back in full swing. Trade Genius over the last 30 days has netted its traders nearly 27% on their money from 3 crypto trades. Ripple shows an 11% gain, WABI a 7% gain, and LUN a 9% gain. Take control of your financial future. Discover the brand new world of trading cryptocurrencies and receive personal coaching with the Trade Genius Bob Kudla and Philip Cleaver. Also learn stocks, ETFs, binary options with the #1 trading organization on the internet, Trade Genius. Right now through March, for the spring specials, you can save over 50% off their bundled specials. And or use promo code SPRING for 40% off all non-bundled items. Check out TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Tell them X22 sent you. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we need to remember something very important about the economy. Trump right now is preparing each sector of the economy for this transition. And there's a lot of pieces. There's a lot that needs to be done. And he is doing it. Remember, he has tariffs in place. They're there for a reason. He's making new trade deals. This is being done for a reason. He's controlling the Fed. This is being done for a reason. Q has told us that gold is going to bring down the Fed. Gold is going to be used to counter fiat currency, the debt note that the Fed issues, where the government borrows that fiat currency and the people are then enslaved to that central bank. He is changing everything right now, one piece at a time. It needs to be done, and he's doing it, just like he's doing everything else. He promised he was going to drain the swamp. That includes the economic swamp. Because if you have a central bank controlling the economy and you get rid of all the traders and the treasonous individuals, you still have the central bank, which means you still have a fiat currency, which means around the world, you still have this group of unelected individuals controlling every country. And you know what this spawns? It spawns more traders, treasonous, criminal activity. And the people around the world, they are speaking out against their government, speaking out against central banks, telling all these organizations what they want. And we see out in the UK, we know there's a Brexit going on. The people voted in a referendum, and they want to leave the EU. Now, it seems that May is in a little bit of trouble here because Parliament, they've seized control of the Brexit from Theresa May. And they passed what's called the Letwin Amendment. And this passed around 329 to 302. And they voted in favor of a government motion. Now, the amendment calls for time to be set aside on Wednesday for a series of indicative votes on alternatives to the withdrawal agreement that May negotiated with the EU. The options will range from a soft Brexit that could cross certain of May's red lines, or a no Brexit at all. So here are some of the deals that they're looking at. May's deal. This deal has been rejected twice already. I don't think it's going to pass the third time. This is the EU deal, a no Brexit deal. This would lead to the UK leaving the EU on the new revised date of April 12th on the World Trade Organization terms. Eliminating a backstop. This is, in theory, would mean rewriting the withdrawal agreement, something the EU says we are not going to do. Canada-style deal. A popular idea with hardcore Brexiters, this would focus on the future trade deal with the EU rather than the withdrawal agreement. In theory, the UK would accept no continuing regulatory alignment with the EU. The Norway Plus deal. This soft Brexit alternative would keep the UK in the single market by remaining in the European Economic Area and European Free Trade Association. Unlike EFTA, the deal would also keep the UK in the customs union. Labor deal. This would mean the UK remains in customs union with the EU and remain close to the single market. I don't think that's going to happen. The second referendum, again, I don't think that's going to happen. So we see right now, things are happening in the UK. The EU is not getting what they want, and we'll have to see how this all plays out. But it looks like May's days are numbered, and I believe this is why Q said Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. She is in trouble. Here in the United States, we know that the Fed, they are in a holding pattern with the interest rates, and the economy here in the United States started to decline very, very rapidly when the Fed was raising rates. Since the Fed has been in a holding pattern, we're still seeing a decline in the housing market, but it's not happening as fast. Now, Case-Shiller, they came out with their home price index, and it was expected to show a growth, but we're seeing that it's continually slowing. Case-Shiller 20-city composite grew at just 3.58% year-on-year in January, well below 3.8% year-on-year expected. What is happening here, and we need to go back a little bit. The central bank, they pick these 20 cities where they can push the bubbles up, make it look like real estate was doing fantastically. And this is what they do. They have hedge funds, investment companies. They all invest in real estate. They buy the houses. They rent them if they can, but they're told to keep them off the market. This drives up the bubbles because you have less inventory out there. People think the real estate market's hot, and people say, hey, I want in on this, and it drives the prices up. And we see that this is the weakest annual growth since September 12th, decelerating for a 10th month in January, as buyers right now are holding out for more affordable properties. Remember, when the interest rates have moved up, it throws a lot of buyers out of the market. Now, since we're in this holding pattern, I do believe the Patriots were hoping, and we know that they planned this out, that the real estate market wouldn't decline as quickly as it was, because they know they need to keep the economy very, very steady for the 2020 elections. We see building permits, well, they are dropping very, very rapidly. Now, once again, the Fed might even have to lower the rates to make sure that the economy stays the way it is. I mean, is it going to improve? And I'm not talking about the statistical numbers. I'm talking about the people's economy. I'm talking about retail. I'm talking about housing. I'm talking about automobile purchases, those type of things. So if Trump and the Patriots, they see the economy deteriorating even further as we get closer and closer to the 2020 elections, we might see the Fed say, you know something, we might have to lower the rates. We'll wait and see to see if that actually happens. But right now, we're in a holding pattern, and the economy has been stabilized as of right now. Now, we know that Trump is preparing this economy for a transition away from the central bank system. And we know that Trump, he's placed a lot of tariffs on different sectors of the economy, steel, aluminum, and many other areas. And of course, he's using this as leverage to create better deals with China. But something very interesting happened. The United States Court of International Trade has rebuked a global industry challenge to Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs. The court told the Multinational Trade Association they lacked any authority to override the sovereign authority of Trump and his absolute right to apply a National Security Section 232 declaration to protect the U.S. steel and aluminum industry. So the Court of International Trade, the body that hears constitutional challenges to federal trade policy, rejected an effort to overturn Trump's 25% tariffs on steel imports on Monday. The American Institute for International Steel, a trade association, had sued the administration, arguing that the president exceeded his authority when he claimed last year that the tariff was justified under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, which involves protecting national security. The court said Monday that it lacked the authority to second-guess the president's decisions. And we need to remember, Trump is not doing this just to do it. He's unwinding everything the globalists have done, everything the central bank has done. Remember, they were planning to move everything out of this country and make it a third world nation. Think about what they've done since the 70s, since we came off the gold standard. Now, they don't do these things very quickly. They do it very slowly, methodically, making it seem like this is a natural course that the economy is going to take. Yes, jobs are going to be moving off. Yes, manufacturing is going to be moving off. Yes, the middle class will no longer be around. Yes, the dollar loses value. This is why we see inflation. But of course, they don't say the dollar is losing value. They just talk about inflation. These are normal things. No, they're not. These were created by the central bank to make us believe that this is normal. Under their system, yes, it is normal. Under their system, under a debt system, this is what you're going to see. Under a system that is not controlled by debt, where you have sound money, you don't see this. You see a prospering people. And this is something that the central bank fears. If there's any country that removes the central bank and they prosper, this is the downfall of the central bank. Why do you think they hate Russia so much? They have hardly any debt. Actually, Putin is controlling the private Western central bank. He calls the shots. Why do you think they hate Russia so much? Because the central bankers don't like that they're not in control. And they want countries in a lot of debt. Debt gives them control. And if there's going to be a country that's doing well without a central bank, this is their worst nightmare. Because once other countries pick up on this, guess what? They want to do the same thing. So right now, what is happening is Trump is bringing back everything into this country. And he has to do it in this short period of time. And yes, it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. Yes, individuals who liked the way everything was, where they were making fortunes off the central bank, they don't want things to change. But guess what? We're going to see change. Change for the people. And this change is going to come in the form of a transition from the central bank economy into a people's economy, where we, the people, will coin or create our own currency without interest attached. Get rid of the interest, get rid of a lot of the taxes. Very interesting. Why do you think the IRS was set up? Because there was interest on the currency the government was borrowing from the central bank. Who was going to pay it back? Oh, that's right, we the people, which means we're enslaved to the central bank. And they put the United States further and further into debt, which means the people owe a certain amount of that debt. Get rid of the central bank, get rid of the interest. Guess what? You don't need the taxes. Guess what? We're not enslaved to the central bank. Guess what? The economy can boom. This is where we are headed. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.